So warm welcome to you, dear colleagues, and thank you so much for making yourself available for this half an hour now that we would like to spend on the presentation skills training that is awaiting you in September. So basically, as you know, we met many of you in the communications training that we had, a completely virtual training. And this is some sort of a continuation of that training, except that this is going to be very much focused on presentation skills. So today, as Jess already explained, it's an opportunity for you to go over your expectations. What is it that you hope to get out of the training, or out of this 2-day face-to-face training that is going to be held in Amman in mid-September? And also, Jess has a small ask from you in the form of a pre-course task, and he will go into details around that as well. This is also really just to make sure that you get the most out of this training, out of these 2 days. So you really walk away from this training fully boosted and with skills polished. This is it really from my side. So Jess Totfield is going to be your trainer, and Jess, he brings a wealth of experience in presentations, in public speaking, and also in media interviews. So I can assure you that you are in very good hands with Jess, and you will meet him in person in Amman. But now over to you, Jess.
Thank you. And I'm really excited to meet everybody in person in really a little less than 2 weeks, I think, looking at the dates. Yeah, it's just a little under 2 weeks. And we're gonna do some good work. You're hopefully going to have some fun. You may say, uh-oh, is this fun? No, it is, because I always say this is the safe zone. This is the time where it's okay not to be perfect when you practice some new skills. You know, we want to try to be perfect, but we're human beings. We're just not perfect. We do our best and we keep trying to improve. And for the presentation skills, each of you know, and I'll be asking you in just a moment, but each of you know there are certain things you'd like to work on or you'd like to do better. Maybe you've been in meetings that have lasted a little longer than you've liked. That's usually pretty universal. Maybe you've been stressed before giving a presentation or gone somewhere where you've talked about something for a while and realized that it could have been tighter and a little bit more efficient. So during our 2-day workshop, and really going to get the best stuff from me in this program, it's a combination of me giving you some brand new skills to try on for size, doing various exercises, sometimes with some of the scenarios that you and your team came up with, so that it's as real as possible, but ideally seeing some improvement. So in seeing some improvement, we're going to use a wonderful tool during our training called the video camera. But don't worry, I said it's the safe zone. And the beauty of the video camera is you'll see yourself getting better and better. In fact, the first time you do it, it looks better than it felt. So that'll be the first thing that I think will surprise everybody. A lot of times you get up, you do something in front of everybody, you think, you know, I don't know how well that went. And it's usually much, much better, which starts to create a brand new idea in your brain of what's possible for you and your communication skills. And by the way, these skills are life skills, I think. I mean, all of you are doing important work, and the information that you're sharing with each other and externally even need to be accurate and out there, and people need to remember and understand what you say. Those are some of the pieces of walking you through what we'll be doing. Actually, I'm going to share this with you quickly, which is there's 4 levels for being a great communicator. We'll talk about it when I see you in person. But one is people need to understand what you say. So if you get mixed in with jargon or say something confusing, you could lose somebody. Most people are okay at that one. You need to become more memorable. So I'll show you how to speak in a way where people remember what you say so they can move to the next level, which is acting on what you say. They should do something if they remembered it, if they understood it and remembered it. And then the last is pass on to others, that you were so good and memorable that someone can turn around and share something that you said almost exactly. So those are those are the 4 levels of being a great communicator. And like I said, this is a life skill. So I'm really excited to share some of this with you. Quick little bit on me now that I talked about you a tiny bit, which is I was a TV producer for 13 years, doing some international TV and nationally in the United States. I'm from New York. That's where I'll be coming from to come visit and work with you. I left television after that period of time and started a training company about 15, 18 years ago. It was about a 3-year overlap, making my way into the training business. Media training, teaching people to be in front of the media, and presentation training are the main 2 types of training that we deliver. And I've worked with the UN at least for the last 15 years. I've worked with force commanders. I've worked with heads of offices from all around the world. I know our company has worked with people from more than 100 countries. I've done a lot of work at the UN Secretariat building in New York, but also on location. So I'm excited to see all of you in person and to come and visit. Now, let's see, anything else I should mention? I'll save it for when I meet you. You get the main ideas. Here's what I wanted to do in our chat today, which is to find out from you what would make the training important and helpful to you. What would you like to get out of the time together? You know, you're giving your most important resource in life, your time. So I want to make it valuable, and I want to find out what you would like to get out of the day. And then get this, I customize our time together so that you can get that out of our time together. So, and I can see all of your names here, and I know some people are, you can unmute or you can type in the chat. Either way is fine. Sometimes it's nice to hear people, but our first person is saying, I'd like to overcome shyness when speaking in public. Great. And Adele even saying that out loud, to type it and put it to everybody. All right, you're going to make a breakthrough. I know it, because the more we practice something, the more we let go of our old stuff that might have held us back. So that'll be a good one. And I'm making some little notes here so that I remember it after today. I think I can, well, I'll have the recording too. Who's next? Would somebody like to unmute? You can type, but it's kind of fun to hear some people's voices. I haven't met you yet. And let me know, what would you like to get out of our time together? We actually have it enough where we could really talk to everybody for about 30, 40 seconds. Maybe I'll call on people. Maybe that's the smarter way. Let's go with
Hello, I can start.
Iman is first.
Yeah, how are you? First of all, looking forward to meet you in person. Actually, this training is really on time, because I will be facing code of conduct dialogue sessions, let's say 10 to 15 sessions. That will be my first time. So this training will enable me to know how the dialogue will be conducted, how to reach out with people, what to ask, do and done. So I think I will take a good advantage of this training.
Wonderful. Great. And you were mentioning your code of conduct sessions that you'll be leading?
Yes.
Great. So during the training, I want many of you to work with something that's real, that you know is coming up, or that you might actually deliver in front of other people, as opposed to us just making up things. I know we have a couple of scenarios that the team wanted people to practice with, but we always have plenty of time to mix in other presentations that you might give. You can bring PowerPoint if you use PowerPoint. If you don't use PowerPoint, that's fine too. At some point, we definitely are going to do some exercises just with using PowerPoint. And I'll at least say this one thing, which is giving a presentation is not a PowerPoint presentation. It's always a you presentation. You may use PowerPoint, you may use a whiteboard or something else, but we'll definitely cover it because there are ways to not use PowerPoint to put people to sleep.
Exactly, that's what I'm doing, and I'm facing a problem from jumping from a topic to another. It's really hard. It's really hard.
Great, wonderful. Jumping topics. Thank you, Iman. That's wonderful. Jumping.
Thank you.
Topic. Let's go with Alazar. Maybe you can unmute, Alazar.
Hi, Jess. How are you?
I am wonderful. Nice to meet you.
I'm dealing with the booking of tickets.
You are? Oh, to
yeah.
be able, so you're coming in to be a part of the training from somewhere else?
No, I mean in the administration, I'm booking your ticket to come.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll be talking right after this conversation.
we will, yes, definitely. For these sessions, of course, I will get benefit from. Personally, I face a difficulty when I present a topic in front of a large audience. So, yeah, meetings of 2 or 3, 4 persons are okay, but large of audience, I'll be confused, and sometimes I forget what I want to talk. So yeah.
Wonderful. And you know, this is so helpful for me because it gives me more to know what I want to pull from. I know you, some of you might be thinking, what are we going to do in 2 days? You know, how much is there to talk about? But there's a good amount. It's not just me lecturing, and it's really everybody doing the exercises too. It's a very active time together, the 2 days. I definitely have some things to share with you for dealing with bigger audiences, and some of you, maybe any size audience can make you a little bit nervous, but there are techniques for all of it for you to not only look, sound, feel better, look and sound better, but to feel better during the process, which is a big one.
Thank you so much. We're excited to have you here.
Oh, good. Me too. I'm like excited to visit everybody. It'll be wonderful. Good. All right. We're keeping things on time. Barakat. And please, anybody, if I pronounce your name incorrectly, tell me so I can pronounce it the right way. People seem to like their names pronounced correctly. I've noticed as a communication coach. Basic thing.
Hello, Jess.
Hello. Yes, nice to meet you. What would you like to get out of our time together?
Yes, this is actually a great opportunity, but I was wondering if like, what are the chances to know what are the main weaknesses of everybody relating to communication, and if we can focus on that.
Great. Well, the good news is, as I let somebody into the room here, is when you practice on camera, you're going to look at 2 things. Yes, you'll see things that I'm going to change the word weaknesses to things you want to improve, but the other half of the equation is looking at what's working so you can do more of that. Both are important. If we don't look at what's working, we would never know what to repeat. And then when we look at weaknesses or other areas that we don't like as much, then we can say, great, what do we need to do to improve it in the next exercise? So anytime any of you during our time together say, oh, I didn't like that I did this, I'll say, yeah, okay, good. Do it differently in the next one. Oh, I get to practice it again. Okay. Where usually our experience is we give some presentation and we don't really get a second chance because we did it for the first time in front of everybody. So we'll look at both. And I do want you to think about, for all of you, some of your, not just some of the things that you want to improve, but what do you think? I want you to think on this between now and we see each other, all of you. What do you think you're good at? What do people tell you? Oh, this is one of your strengths. So some of it is a mind shift of of even pushing you harder towards your strengths. There's a great assessment that the Gallup people have called the Strengths Finder assessment, where they actually say we've been taught to spend so much time looking at everything that's wrong with us and to ignore the strengths, and it really gets us to play to our strengths. Anyway,
and actually, if I may add, please, for most of us, we have been working with each other for quite a long time. So maybe it would be useful for everyone to point out some strengths or weaknesses in communication based on the on current and previous experiences.
Well, the way we're going to do it is in watching somebody's presentation and focusing on their presentation. Part of it is to be, you know, in control of the time. So we don't spend 2 hours on some other stuff, but it's very efficient when we look and somebody may have a certain weakness and we say, I don't know, I don't see it there. I think that you're doing a great job. So yes, we'll continue to talk about this, but that's an excellent point, always talking about our strengths and our weaknesses, which I like to say areas for improvement.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, good. All right, so about 30, 40 seconds each. Karine is next. What would you like to get out of our time together, Karine? Thank you, Barakat.
Hi, Jess. Again, I will add to what my colleagues Adele and Rand mentioned, talk about shyness, tension. And this would differ on who your audience is, the size of your audience, etc. So I think this is very important to look at. And another thing I would like, if we can tackle it during the workshop, what if, I mean, you're giving a presentation, a training, you're comfortable, confident with the material, but then someone asks a question where you don't know the answer to. What would be the best approach in front of everybody, how to present that answer, saying, I don't know, but in how it should be dealt with.
Good.
This is one thing I would like to tackle, and just would like to add that the camera you've mentioned, I personally have tried it twice, once in a workshop and once I and another colleague, and it was really useful. So it would be a good idea if we do that. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, there's some good exercises where we won't do this right away, and we'll see if we do it by the end of the first day or the second day, but I'll make sure that other people in the room will ask many of you some questions, and we'll purposely try to ask you some questions that you don't know the answer to, so you could use some new techniques. So you'll know you're not going to know the answer to it. You'll need to, you know, eventually there will be plenty of times where you don't know. Sometimes you do know the answer. Sometimes you surprise everyone you know the answer, but this way you'll have some techniques. And that is a stress for pretty much everybody. So wonderful.
Thank you.
Terrific. All right, Khalid, what would you like to get out of our time together? And Khaled was unmuting for a second there. There we go. Oh, no. I don't know if Khaled can hear all right. Maybe we'll go back. Telfa, maybe you can unmute and share with us what it is that you want to get out of our time together. I see that you unmuted, but we can't hear you just yet. So maybe Telfa is trying to talk. I know everyone's playing with the technology, but we're going to get to see each other in person. So I'm hoping that not once will you have to look at me and say, you're on mute, Jess, which we've said for a lot over the last couple of years. Telfa is working with the audio. So maybe Telfa, oh, there we go. I see your, the image anyway. We'll go back in a moment.
We can see you, but we cannot hear you.
We can see you.
We're in the same office.
But we just don't have the audio. So we'll jump back to you. You can play with the audio. Let's go with Nancy.
Hello, Jess. How are you?
I'm doing great. Nice to chat with you.
Thank you. For me, I'd be grateful if we can spot the light in making the topics actually fun and Yani, I don't know. Every time I present, I think that I'm a little bit boring.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
writing down this is good.
Yeah,
And
so that the people actually get bored and خلاص, they want any more information. So I think yani, I'd be grateful if we know how to make our presentations more fun, so people can understand and not forget the topics.
yeah, okay, that's great. We'll do that. There are definite ways, and you'll all see when you do a practice and we play it back. Certainly, as we start things out, I've had big CEOs and heads of companies and organizations who look at their video and say, that might have been a little boring. So it's very easy for me to turn and say, I agree. What can we do to make it better? Oh, good. How about we try this? Good. Let's try it. So together we have some good stuff you'll get to try out. And it's the nice thing about the video camera is that you'll see something like that. It's not the end of the world. You'll try something new and you'll each get to see the difference. So wonderful. All right, we'll keep it going. Thank you very much, Nancy. Adele, we can try to see if Adele, that works. If not, I'll just kind of move on to the next person. Let's go with Tahira.
Hi, Jess. How are you?
Wonderful.
You
Nice
need
to
my
meet
video
you.
on?
Either way is fine. Whatever you like. Make it easy as the week is ending.
Okay, just bear with my voice only for the time being.
What would you like to get out of this workshop?
Okay, thank you. First of all, my apologies that I joined late. I was stuck with something else. Secondly, if I miss something that you want to share before you want my answer, I would love to hear that. If not, it is only the straightforward question, what would I like from the workshop? I can just go on.
Yes, yes. And we have a recording of this. And in a moment, just for time, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna share this one thing I want you guys to all do before we meet. And then I'll very quickly hear from the remaining people who are on here.
Okay.
Also for the remaining people, if you prefer to just for the sake of time to write in the chat what you'd like to get out of the time together, you can do that. It's more fun for me to hear from you, but you can do that. We can, yeah, you know, I just don't want to go over time too much. So yes, Tahira, what would you like to get out of our time together?
Okay, for me, I think I look at it from the broader aspect. I want my team as a team. And I feel the communication and presentation skills is one of the tools for them to break their ice and try to communicate well, not only within the team, but outside the team, because we deal with a lot of staff members. Our clients are staff members, not staff members within Amman, but any UNHCR staff member, first time interaction and all that. So I want their communication style through presentations or through other means of communications so effective that we spend some less time and more effective results. And also the tips that we can use to present what we want in a way that we don't see ourselves something as the having a control over the things, but being a team who is facilitating, who is client oriented and supporting team. So it's kind of, I don't focus on one thing that this is what I want. Definitely there's some presentation skills if you may want to make PowerPoint or email communication or whatever. That is one aspect. The other aspect, since I'm also having an object of capacity building of my team, I think it would be great to know how to present short topics, the rules and the policies and the procedures that we use every day in our work, so that, you know, time to time, like brown bag sessions, we organize one topic and it's quick, short, precise, brief, and to the point, so that which can bring common understanding for the entire team.
Wonderful. Yes, I'll give everybody some templates for a longer talk or a shorter talk. And one of the things I said earlier is it's not a PowerPoint presentation. It's not a this or that. It's a you presentation always. and you'll see what I mean by that. Thank you very much. That was helpful, Tahira.
Thank you.
All right. I still want to hear from the other people, but I want to share this with you within the main half hour that I had mentioned, which is there is one thing that we would like for you to do prior to showing up. And I'm going to send everybody an email with a link. And there's even I think a 2-minute video of me talking about it, but it's basically you doing a very short presentation talking about something. And I say presentation, you talking about something that you might talk about ideally for work, could be about yourself. It's not necessarily one of the scenarios that we're doing during the training, but for 1 or 2 minutes. And I want you to think of 3 points you want to make and then record yourself. You can record yourself with your computer, you can record yourself with your phone, and there's a link to be able to upload it. And so again, a 1 or 2 minute video. And if you look at it and you don't like, you think that you're bumbling around or you don't like something, record it again. And, you know, we kind of always say, record it again and again until you feel like, okay, this is good enough. I'm okay with sending it. I'm not sharing it with anybody. I'm not sharing it with your bosses. We're not putting it on the internet. But the idea is, and this is important because, you know, before we all had all these recording devices, when I first started the training company, I think we did a nice job, but it's so much better when people can stop a few days before the training, record themselves and think, wow, you know I talked a couple of weeks ago about what I wanted to get out of the training, but now I have a few new things to ask for. So it's really helpful for that. And ideally, I mean, you like something of what you see. So I'll send that to you afterwards. There's also a link to some short videos or some other pieces of information. I'll probably put I don't know if I put a link to one of our past books in there. You don't have to read the book, but short videos or any other information that you may want to look at, and you can look at it. You don't have to look at a lot of that other stuff. But when I make people, when I let them know that they don't have to worry about it, then people are open to, oh, I'll click on a couple of these videos and learn about some of the lessons. And those are lessons that will come up, but sometimes people will say, oh, I watched that video, I've been thinking about it. And a lot of these short little lessons are part of the post-training that you'll get, but even peeking at some of them for a minute or two, they're short videos. You'll see it's helpful. So there's a short assignment, you making a video, uploading it, and then just really getting you to think more about how we can make the most of this. Because as I said in the beginning, you know, the work that all of you do is very important. And if you don't get people even internally to understand and remember what it is you said and to go out and act on it, something's lost. And then communicating with other people was a waste of time. We don't want it to be a waste of time. We want it to be super helpful and have all of your teams work well together. So that's the main thing I wanted to share. And now a quick speed round, just so I can hear from everybody, and maybe we'll try to do it as quickly, maybe a one line for the remaining people. Dudine said in the chat to do professional presentations, which will be accepted and useful for those that receive them. Thank you, Dudine. Let's see, Sardini, maybe just a quick one sentence, and then I will not talk too much so that I can let your week finish off. We'll see if Sardini is able to unmute. I see
Hi,
there we go.
Everyone. So we joined very, very late in the presentation. We are very sorry.
We recorded it, so you could always go back.
Okay, so that's it. I'm not sure what we understand now from, I mean, the short period that we attended.
So this is basically, what would you like to get out of our time together? And it gets both of us, you thinking about it, but also me customizing our time as well.
Maybe the courage to stand in front of audience and speak without being, I mean, without having the stage fear, etc.
Great.
Yeah.
Good, good.
I mean, if you have the full information about the topic that you are talking about, you still sometimes lack the courage or think that you might mess up, you might not convey the information correctly, etc. Just how to get rid of this
Wonderful.
fear. Yeah,
Great.
thank you.
I have a lot to share with all of you about
All right.
the world of what's going on in here that nobody else can hear besides.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Yes. And then how to focus on everyone else, and then this part goes away.
Okay.
As we become
Very
audience
good.
centered instead of me centered. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Amu Gazar says tips to boost our confidence and improve verbal communication and overcome shyness. Good, good. You know, you are all in very good company. I hear this from a lot of groups. And you know, we'll probably have one person in the room who says, I don't have that. In fact, I have zero shyness and I'm too over the top, and we'll see. And we'll have some fun with that person as well. I think there's only a couple other people left, Tatiana and Iman.
I already shared my point, but also there is another thing. What about if you don't like the material you will present? Okay, yeah, or maybe you're not aware about this topic. I'm sure there is some ways you can sneak out from here or here through activities or exercises, but what if the topic is really dull? So this is, I think, something I need to know more about it.
So
Over
think
to
about,
Tatiana.
Iman, think about bringing some material that you don't like, or, you know, you wouldn't be thrilled about presenting. Could be something that you know, make up, but ideally something kind of real, or, you know, that would be uncomfortable. And then you get to practice with it too.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. And let's see here, Tatiana.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah. What would you like to get out of our time together?
Well, a lot, and a lot has been mentioned already. One thing that I was wondering whether we could learn how to grab and maintain the attention of the audience on this subject that they're not really interested in, or in advance they're actually rejecting the content.
Oh, good. If they reject it.
If they don't want to know, and if the topic is not interesting. But just as an example, now we're rolling out a new software across the organization, and we in HR are expected to basically deliver a lot of content that might not necessarily be terrifically welcomed by the audience. So how do we not only grab their attention, but maintain it, and of course, deliver the message in the way that potentially the attitude changes or the interest sparkles up?
Good. Yes. Wonderful. We'll talk about it. We can practice with some of it. We can get some of your colleagues to pretend they're not that interested at that moment.
They don't need to pretend.
They don't need to pretend. But you'll see, it's kind of, you know, it'll be fun for everybody else to kind of, you know, to sit there, and it'll be a good exercise for you to work through that and try different things and see if you can get them to. I have a few ideas of what we can do, and listen, this I want to put a little cap on some of this. Anybody else who didn't get to say something, please put it in the chat so that I can hear it and hear from you. But everything everybody has shared, and this as well, has been super helpful for me because it gives me great ideas for exercises. It's very interactive, this whole time together. It's not 2 days of sitting in front of a PowerPoint lecture, a PowerPoint or lecture or it's not that. It's very interactive, us trying new exercises and really making a leap so that we can not only be the part, but feel it as well. And I'm always excited to share it, especially with this group. So yeah, before I just give the final goodbye, and I'll email all of you so that you have whatever it is that I've promised, as well as this short little, I hate to say, homework exercise to do before our time together. But are there any burning questions, any big questions that anyone has before we finish off this Zoom?
Can I ask one?
Yes, please.
Thank you. When we were requested to provide the name of the staff who should attend these skills, I provided all the names of my team. There are many, not many. But then later on, I received a form which had to be filled. And I don't know, did you receive it or it was with the GLDC staff? But then I realized, okay, there is some relevancy which I have to put. So I had to remove 2 colleagues. But now I'm feeling from the career development perspective, I need to add them again. So if it is not an issue, please confirm so that I can add. Why? Because I don't want them to feel left out. And even if it is a little bit relevant with their functions, still it is a good opportunity for them for the career development. And also they can use these skills anywhere, anytime later.
Okay, yes, I'm sure you can coordinate with Gazella to figure out which of the 2 sets of trainings make the most sense or have the smaller class size. Yes, helpful. Okay, good. Anybody else? Any important questions or something to bring up? All right. So with that, thank you very much for letting this go a tiny bit over. And it really was wonderful hearing from all of you. It's very, very helpful. This was super important. I always like to try to meet and hear who it is that I'm going to work with. You know, we're human beings. We're going through this human experience together. We want to make it as good as possible, including you giving a presentation to somebody else. So I look forward to meeting with you, and I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. I know we'll blink and we'll see each other. So thank you for taking time out, and have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, colleagues. Have a
Thank
lovely
you.
weekend.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.